All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good today. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Palantir actually down a pretty significant amount. You're actually down a pretty significant. The FOMC meeting tomorrow. Very high probability of a rate pause. We got Palantir down overnight after guidance fears, tariff fears, basically dropping the stock overnight after its earnings. It ended up reversing, coming all the way back down to 115. We got trade deficit data at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time today. The NASDAQ is down a little bit. We are under 20,000, hit 19,824s this morning. And I hope you guys are doing good today. We're going to do a poll like we always do. Yeah. Will Jerome Powell be hawkish or dovish is the poll we got going on right now. We got a couple of earnings that were released this morning. We got one of the European guys speaking on stuff as well. We had DoorDash come out saying they're going to buy 7 rooms for about $1.2 billion in an all-cash deal, according to Bloomberg. Marriott had earnings. They showed up at 232 versus 224 expected. Quarter 225 comp, system-wide constant dollar RevPAR growth 1.5 to 2.5%. A couple other companies. Spotify says it's aware of some issues at the moment with the app and is looking at the issues. We had Ferrari post numbers. So the EU and the UK have agreed to hold annual summits to discuss their relationship, according to a draft summit statement seen by Reuters. Marathon Petroleum, which is one of the bigger ones. MPC, it's one of like Warren Buffett's stocks. Favorite stocks. MPC had earnings today. They posted a loss of 24 cents versus 54 cents expected. So a little bit better than expected loss. With oil getting beat up, Marathon Petroleum, bad EPS numbers. Bank of England monetary policy report and minutes of the monetary policy meeting is going to be published at 12:02 on Thursday this week. We also had this EU trade commissioner saying some stuff too. Yeah, look at Palantir's drop, dude. What a drop. Yeah, so what I'm looking at is that we had the EU trade commissioner. His name was Sefcovic. He said the EU does not feel weak or under undue pressure to accept an unfair deal by the U.S. Says the U.S. tariffs are unfair and everybody wants to accelerate FTA with the EU. There was also announced that the China State Council is going to hold a press conference with PBOC officials, security regulator and financing regulator tomorrow on Wednesday, according to State Council Info Office. Bond yields have spiked today, so when we're looking at bond yields, they are up a little bit this morning. Here's bond yields right here. Look at this. They are up to 4.34%. 4.34%, still up a lot. Basically have gone up for the last 3-4 days in a row here heading into this. And when we take a look at the... Okay, I'm sorry. This is supposed to be instrumentals. I'm not sure why it wasn't. There we go. When we take a look at bond yields, and they are up. Palantir's starting to come back a little bit, though, here. Look at this. But, yeah. The probability of a pause is 95 to 5 right now. 95 to 5. So, honestly, this has gone back a little bit. This was a little bit lower yesterday. The likelihood of a cut here was like 2.5% yesterday. Now it's at 4.5%. So this has gone up a little bit. Still not very probable that we're going to do anything besides a pause tomorrow. But yeah, it's worth a while. It's worth watching here. Yeah, I'm taking a look at the 10-year yield futures. They're up to 4.35%. They're up about a small amount. But look at the NASDAQ start to come down a little bit here. Make sure there's no news. Tesla VP says company is including more than 60 of its Chinese suppliers to its global procurement system. Tesla at 275s right now. All right, so the EU said that they're going to target 100 billion of U.S. goods with tariffs if talks fail, according to the Bloomberg. We also have the import-export trade deficit data today. And it's the day before the Fed meeting, so it's a busy week. And then this evening, we got the Atlanta Fed GDP now for quarter 2. Last time it showed up at 1.1%. This is predicting GDP. Today, they're expecting 1.1%, but yeah, still worthwhile to watch here. Outside of this, we're kind of slow. What's up, Day, Lee, Dragos, Alyssa, Louie, Sam, Kay, Jay, Texan. No, when I say we, I'm talking about like me and any moderators that I have, any contractors that work for me. Yeah, look at this sell-off here, starting at around 6 a.m. I'm trying to see if there's a reason for this. Look at this drop. Do y'all like the no green screen look? Like this? Like, I keep the no green screen look if it's easier. India trade minister says if EU puts a carbon tax, India will have to retaliate. Hey, what's up, Ludwig? Palantir's great earnings and get destroyed. It was heavily overvalued. Yeah, I mean, the PE ratio for Palantir was just really high. And I like Palantir as a stock. Obviously, there's valuation concerns. So, again, let's talk about the big stories of the day. The first one is the Fed is widely expected to keep policy rates unchanged at 4.25% to 4.5% tomorrow, May 7th, emphasizing a cautious pause amid tariff-driven uncertainty while providing guidance on the timing of a potential rate cut later this year, hopefully. Other big news is tariff escalation and de minimis rule end. So effective May 2nd, the administration closed the 800 de minimis duty exemption for China and Hong Kong parcels, raising minimum duties to 120% UPU or 145% for commercial carriers, forcing e-tailers like Shine and Temu to pivot away from the US and boost their ad spend in Europe and Brazil. We've also had, again, I covered this already, Treasury yields spiking up today. You know, here's Treasury yields. They are up to 4.35%. They're going up again here. So Treasury yields still rising, jumping to multi-week highs. Strong economic data and tariff risks prompted investors to pare back long duration bets. Bond funds have largely held neutral duration stances but trimmed exposure at the long end ahead of the Fed meeting. We also have oil to talk about. So oil is one of the big stories in markets right now. You can see I talked about Marathon Petroleum, MPC, come out earlier with some earnings. Look at the NASDAQ still dump. And MPC had bad earnings. Or no, they had better than expected earnings, actually. But oil rebounded over 1% from 4-year lows on technical buying amid ongoing OPEC supply worries, while gold hit a 2-week high on safe haven demand, driven by fresh tariff anxiety. And so we can take a look at oil here. Oil did rebound a little bit today. Look at the NASDAQ fall here. What's driving the NASDAQ down? Let's see if we can figure out what stock is driving the NASDAQ down. It's not Apple, not Amazon. It could be Amazon. Amazon's dropping too. What about? It's not really Google. It's not Palantir. What about Microsoft? Microsoft, Meta, Apple, Amazon, Google. What am I forgetting? Tesla. Could be Tesla. I would assume maybe it's probably one of the big ones like Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia's breaking down for some reason. You can see oil rebound though over the last few days. It's actually above where the big drop was after the supply worries kicked in. Nvidia is what's dropping the market though. You can see Nvidia drop here. Look. So this is probably what's doing it. We got AMD earnings after the bell today. Yeah, what's up, chat? SoFi? Keep the screen. So do you guys like the green screen or this screen better? You set a little low your mic? Okay, my bad. Here, let me fix it. Okay, my mic should be pretty good. I can turn it up some more though if you guys want me to. Stagflation. Yeah, I mean, I think you could argue we're in stagflation, but we don't really have the high inflation data right now to, you know, maybe, but I don't know if we have the high inflation data right now. All right, look at the NASDAQ steady falling here, and it looks like Nvidia is what it looks like. So again, NASDAQ following Nvidia. All right, so we're starting to get a little bounce back in Nvidia and the NASDAQ here. Big drops though. Yeah, looking at our poll, we did a poll. We asked people, will Jerome Powell be hawkish or dovish tomorrow? 60% think hawkish, which is restrictive, which means higher interest rates. They think he's going to maintain higher interest rates to really focus on inflation combating, versus dovish, which is a looser monetary policy, which means that they can bring interest rates down and stimulate the economy, worried about a recession. Basically, what do you think Jerome Powell fears more, recession or inflation? And I don't know. I don't know what he fears more. Yeah. OPEC isn't done increasing their output yet, so further dropping of oil prices are in store for the future. Possibly, yeah. Yeah, I think that's possible. You know. All right, so again, non-farm payrolls last Friday rose by 170,000 in April, with unemployment rate holding at 4.2% and average hourly earnings up 0.2%, signaling labor market resilience despite trade tensions. That is probably one of the reasons that we're getting a lot less probabilities of a cut in rates That's probably one of the reasons why we're getting a lot less probabilities of rate cuts. Yesterday, we had ISM services data come in at 51.6 from 50.8, while the prices paid index jumped to 65.1, which is the highest since January of 2023, underscoring tariff-driven cost pressure in services. In March, CPI rose 2.4% over the past 12 months, down from 2.8% in February. And core CPI, and this is inflation data. Speaking about stagflation, this is inflation data. Core CPI gained 2.8%. Energy costs fell 3.3%. Food prices rose 3%, offering a mixed picture ahead of April's data release. So, yeah, we got the April data next week. So next week on Tuesday, we have regular CPI, and on Thursday, we have PPI inflation. The White House supply chain strains are possibly there. So we got the White House potential supply chain restraints. And the White House is urging patience as West Coast ports saw a 35% plunge in Chinese cargo ships in shipments, with businesses warning that the president's tariffs threaten higher prices and potential layoffs. So we are seeing some effect of the tariffs here overseas in shipping. Yesterday, another thing that really negatively impacted Netflix, the stock Netflix, is that Netflix dropped significantly. It did rebound after the opening bell, though, so you can kind of see we have rebounded back up. And Netflix dropped all the way down to under 1,100 here. You can kind of see it. And the main reason for this is because the president announced a 100% tariff on all foreign-made movies to, quote, save Hollywood. Obviously stoking, I should say, fresh fears of broader trade retaliation and, blowback. There's some other stuff going on in chip news. So in other broad chip news, look at the NASDAQ pop back up. Is this NVIDIA related? Yeah, so this is NVIDIA related. Look at NVIDIA bounce. Look at it. Look at the NASDAQ bounce back up. So we did have Taiwan Semiconductors breaking ground on its third fab in North Phoenix on April 29th, a 2nm capable plant set to create 6,000 jobs. So Taiwan Semiconductors expanding. Apple is also planning to source around 19 billion chips from U.S. factories in 25, including modules from TSM. Arizona fab, and is pledging $500 billion to expand its U.S. operations over 4 years. Look at the NASDAQ and NVIDIA bounce right back here. So look at this. Look at this move. We're actually getting some volatility for pretty early in the morning. Look at the NASDAQ pump back up here. We also have TSMC and Broadcom evaluating asset swaps or acquisitions involving Intel as CHIPS Act beneficiaries seek to streamline supply chain footprint. Again, Treasury bills down. Bond yields up. So Treasury bills, the prices of treasuries are down. The yields are up. You can look at something like TLT here and see that TLT with basically everything else has been dropping as bond yields rise. Again, a really easy correlation to understand is treasury yields decrease as bond yields increase, and vice versa. If bond yields are decreasing, treasury yields increase, and if bond yields are increasing, treasury yields decrease. I might have said that over and over again, but the point remains, they inverse each other. And so as the prices of underlying bonds have gone down over the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, yields have been spiking up. If we take a look at yields in the same period of time, you can see yields going up in the same period you can see yields increasing in the same period that bond prices have actually been going down. So that's going on right now. Bond yields going up and yields going down, or bond prices going down. Right now, the current stance ahead of the Fed meetings that bond investors are holding a neutral stance after Treasury yields surged on the tariff announcement. Uncertainty over economic outlook is definitely here, and we'll see what happens. And I'm gonna start trying to maybe do the stream like I did today, where I kind of break down all the breaking news here. Ugh. Yeah, we'll see what Powell does. Yeah, gold. Honestly, I did hear about gold today as well. Gold pushing up towards all-time highs. So remember, the all-time highs of gold are now at $3,500 a share, or an ounce, and we are getting very close. We're about $100 away from that. So depending on what the market does, I might honestly day trade a little gold this morning. Depending on what the market does, I might day trade a little gold. I don't really know what gold's gonna do. Gold's very heavy, kind of, you know, but I might try. Yeah, so we might try to trade some gold today if we get a good pullback here. Here's the NASDAQ, been very volatile this morning. Looking at the news that showed up this morning, China Commerce Minister says to importers, the Chinese Commerce Ministry is saying that it's going to impose anti-dumping duties on imports of cypermethrin originating from India for 5 years starting May 7th. May 7th. Yeah, Palantir down big, had earnings yesterday. Today we got AMD earnings, so we might move markets. Yeah, GDP took a hit. Yep. Powell can't save the market. Well, it depends on what we're talking about, the market. If we're talking about the economy, he definitely can help the economy or hurt the economy, you know, depending on what he does. If we're talking about the stock market, it's a different entity completely. So... we're going to be in a major recession, maybe. We might be heading towards one. I'm not sure. GDP is definitely looking a little negative this week. For last quarter especially. This quarter too, maybe. And looking at our poll, we're still pretty 60-40 split where Powell's going to be hawkish or dovish. Are we going to crash tomorrow for the FOMC meeting? I don't necessarily think so. But maybe. Who freaking knows, man? I don't know. Ford Motor Company CEO Jim Farley says he expects tariffs to remain for at least the next 3 years. Wow. Again. Yeah, for the next 3 years, bro. Do y'all agree with him? So again, the Ford CEO says he expects tariffs to be in place for the next 3 years. 3 years. Do y'all agree with this? Kraken says it's aware of temporary hiccup affecting the funding gateways. The Ford CEO Farley says least impacted and most able to absorb tariffs. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Don't think so. The market has already baked in those numbers. Yeah, I mean, I think a pause is pretty likely. Everybody kind of knows a pause is pretty likely. I just think that the difference is going to be what they say during the actual conference. Like, what they say during the press conference is going to matter more than everything else. So, like, what they say during the conference is going to mean more than everything. And so we'll see. Like, what Jerome Powell says, you know. All right, so proposed overtime tax break capped at $10,000 for individuals or $20,000 for married couples with income limits. I'm for tax breaks, bro. Like, I'm for it. Like, we need tax breaks. Honestly, people in the U.S. are wildly overtaxed. Wildly overtaxed. Like, imagine it like this, right? Here's the issue that I have. Okay, here's the real issue. You want to know the real issue? Property tax. Freaking obscene. Like, the fact that we have to pay taxes on property that we own, and they're not small. Like, especially here in Texas and really everywhere, taxes are super expensive. So say you're in California, right? And you own $1 million property, and you might say, oh, you own $1 million property. It shouldn't matter, number one. But number two, $1 million property is just a normal freaking house. Say you're a 70-year-old lady in California, and you own $1 million property. You're going to have to pay like $15,000 to $20,000 on that property a year just to keep it. Just to keep that property, you got to pay $20,000 a year. You're basically paying rent on that property in taxes. It's obscene. It's unnecessary. It's crazy. The fact that, like, just to keep property, you got to pay that amount of taxes. And so, you know, it's fine. Like, I'm okay with getting taxed on. And the other real issue is that you're taxed on the assessed value. So as your property goes up more and more and more and more in value, you got to pay more and more and more taxes. It's unnecessary. Like, I'd be okay if they stuck with, like, hey, you bought it for $200K. You got to pay taxes on $200K, you know, but no, it follows the assessed value. And so basically you can't, like, an old lady that doesn't want to work anymore can't just sit there and live in her property anymore. Like, that doesn't happen now. Like, she's got to go work like a job in her 70s or 80s if she wants to pay that property tax. And it's just crazy, honestly. Like, the tax system is crazy. Right, Bora, 100%. Taxes are crazy. I pay crazy amounts for property taxes here in Texas. Texas has no state income tax. And everybody always, like, preaches this back to me. There's no state income tax in Texas. They make it back on property tax. Like, to put it in perspective here, like in Texas, if you got $1 million house, let me get out of the scientific. I just want a standard calculator. In Texas, if you got $1 million in a house, if you got $1 million house in Texas, a lot of places here, you're paying 0.03%. So you're going to pay $30,000 a year to own $1 million property in Texas. 30 grand a year. That's a normal person's salary. Like, this is what people make in salary. You know, just to keep that house every year, you got to pay that. It's unnecessary, man. Like, somewhere along the lines, taxes have gotten way too greedy. Way too greedy. No, I know, sir. There's a lot of crazy taxes. All right, so the California Governor Newsom is offering to partner with the current administration to create a federal film tax credit program worth at least $7.5 billion to boost domestic film production, according to WAPO. Yeah, I mean, I think they should work together if they can, but I don't think it's on crediting films. I don't care about films, bro. Netflix will be all right. They should work together on lowering taxes for normal people. That's what I think personally. Like that's what I would want. Because in the end, we're getting taxed on our income. We're getting taxed on our property. We're getting taxed on our sales. You know, like it's just hitting us from all these different sides. You know, and like even me, like I'm very comfortable financially, but it doesn't feel good to pay as much taxes as you got to pay, and it's very hard to like feel comfortable about future regardless of how much money you have or make based off of how much taxes you got to pay every year. Yeah, for sure, Sam. I get you. And I think billionaires should pay taxes, bro. Listen, you're a billionaire, freaking pay your taxes, dude. Pay more taxes, you know, is what you should be paying. I'm okay with billionaires paying more. Again, I'm very neutral politically, and, like, I'm pretty balanced in how I look at things, too. But so race earnings are already out. So Ferrari already posted their earnings. They came in at... Ferrari ended up posting Q1 EPS of 242. They beat the 232 estimate. Sales of 1.88 billion beat the 1.77 billion estimates. Oh wait, I ended up posting the wrong one. Hold on, let me see. I wanted to copy this. Let me make sure this is showing up. Yeah. So here's Ferrari race RASE EPS and revenue. NASDAQ still falling down. Gold still pushing up a little bit here. Is this NVIDIA related? Yeah, so NVIDIA is breaking lows down to 112s, pulling back some. Palantir is dipping down as well here, but look at the NASDAQ fall. Yeah, futures are breaking lows right now. I'm going to get ready to day trade here. But I think this is mostly NVIDIA driving like this move. Let's take a look. All right, look at the NASDAQ falling down here. It's at 19,813s here. I'm going to put the micro NASDAQ up before I get beat up here somehow. But look at the NASDAQ flush. So the NASDAQ's coming down some here. Breaking lows of the day down to 19.8s. 19.8s. Palantir again gave a lot of it back overnight after earnings. NVIDIA's down. Could it be AMD too? AMD's testing low. So this is microchip related. So microchips are down. Again, at 8:30 we got the import. We got the good trade goods balance, import export data coming out too. All right, see if we get a little bounce. If we bounce up, I might short it into like maybe 850s, but I need a pretty large bounce up there to catch. Nvidia's still breaking down though. Look at Nvidia still falling. Google down, Nvidia down, Microsoft down, Meta down, Apple down. So a lot of red and tech. Alright, so we got a little rebound. We're up to 825. I want it like 830s, 840s, or 850s as a short, but I'll give it a second. All right, up to 820s. We're too low to short this, in my opinion. I think it's too big of a chance Nvidia and others bounce back. As well as Palantir's right at the volume weighted average price in the previous closing, or in the 200 exponential. So I'd like a bounce back first. We'll see if we get it. All right, so we're back up to 827s, 820, 830s almost. $830s. I need a little bit higher moves. Yeah, so what I see somebody asking about Basel III. So Basel III is like rule update for banks. It's a set of international rules for banks designed after 2008 is what it is. All right, so we're up to 830s. It exists to prevent like another 2008 meltdown, limit risky borrowing so they can't leverage up too much, ensure they have enough cash. There's three big aspects of it. It is stronger capital, leverage guards, and liquidity rules. So banks must keep a bigger slice of high quality capital like common shares against loans and other deals. They also set aside extra buffers when the economy is booming. That's the stronger capital aspect of it. Leverage guardrails, so a simple backup limit, which is total capital can't be less than about 3% of all assets, regardless of how risky they are, is the second rule for Basel III. And the third is liquidity rules, which have two different phases. 30-day stress test, so they got to hold enough to truly, they have to hold enough truly liquid assets like government bonds to cover a month of withdrawals, and they have to match funding sources and uses over a year, so you're not scrambling for cash for longer term stability. It's a again, you hear people talk about Basel III. It's a rule set for banks. That's what it is. All right, so we did bounce up to 830s here. I might want to short right here. I'm gonna try. I'll add a little short here, and then maybe we'll take two or more short positions. See if we can get up to like 850 on the short. Slowly creep up to it. There we go. We're down to 8. We'll get another piece here. All right, so we're down right now. I'm not going to add too much more to this, but we're basically flat right now. I want to give it one more second. See if we can retrace back down here. Try to take a little larger positions. I do want to give it a little bit of time, though. I'm trying to take longer term trades and take a little bit larger positions. Nvidia did pop back, though, here. Although it kind of retraced back down a little bit here. I'm going to reduce my size just a little bit here. We just got a big squeeze all the way back up. And we can just settle the rest. We're trading micro, so it's actually a pretty small trade here. But dude, there's been something that where I've been buying lately has just been getting squeezed like heavy. So I think a lot of people are probably jumping in similar positions to me, and they're the ones getting squeezed out. And so I think the market structure is changing. Like what worked once before hasn't been working as well, and instead it's been getting like squeezed out in terms of short-term momentum trading. And this happens. Like the market doesn't stay the same, especially with short-term stuff. It's one of the most important things to understand. Like you're not going to be able to get the same strategies over and over and over again. Especially in day trading, like it's going to change. The market itself is going to change. See if it slows down here. I can guarantee Powell won't give it the rate cut demands. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to cut rates this time. Oh, yeah, I got called in the 8 a.m. scrum. I forgot it was 8 a.m. That's probably what's going on. We got the 8 a.m. scrum going on. I didn't even see it. I'm trying to be patient here and let it turn back down if I can. But I'm going to use this level here. It's like 857 area. Got the NASDAQ up. That's better. I'm gonna cut a piece of this just to protect it. I'd rather have I can cut it here and then be much looser on the rest, and now it's a pretty small trade overall versus continuing to hold into it. Gotta kind of be a little more risk averse here. People say tariffs will raise inflation. Maybe. The Dow instead of the NASDAQ. Yeah. All right. So We'll see if we get this pulled back. We're in one little micro contract now. Yeah, well, we put the green screen down. We're just using a regular screen for now. All right, so we got a market update on x.com, and you can find like it's a full-on bullet point list. Yeah, it's a full-on bullet point list. It's pretty big, honestly, pretty useful. Yeah, so again, the basic list here, I'll read it, but if you want to, you can give me a follow at Beginner Trades. You can give me a follow at Beginner Trades, and I cover this type of news pretty regularly. We got sources, we got everything there. And we'll go through this list. All right, so the list is the Fed outlook is pretty much the same, 4.25 to 4.5%. It's very unlikely that we're going to do anything besides a pause tomorrow. Guidance is on future cuts and what Jerome Powell says during the actual press conference. So, and that's what we're going to stream live here, as we always do. De minimis exemption ends and duties jump on China and Hong Kong parcels for tariffs. We got jobs come in on Friday at 177,000, and most of the time the market has reacted favorably to this report. So markets have reacted better to this report, not worse. And so, again, most markets reacting favorably. March CPI came in at 2.4% year over year, core 2.8%. We had services PMI show up yesterday, higher than expected, showing a little bit of strength at 51.6 for April. Prices paid show up at 65.1, which is the highest since January of 2023. Commodity oil prices breaking off of 4-year lows, bounced up a little bit today. Gold hits 2-week highs, sitting, $100 away from all-time highs for gold. We had chip news. TSMC breaks ground on 2nm fab in Phoenix. Apple's going to source 19 billion of chips domestically. AMD is also having Q1 earnings today. Supermicro has Q1 earnings as well. The Department of Justice antitrust pushback to break up some stuff with Google. Treasury yields surged to multi-week highs. Bond investors are neutral ahead of the Fed meeting. And then yesterday there was a 100% tariff on foreign films announced. So again, we're going to post this, and if you want to check it out, at Beginner Trades, at Beginner Trades. If you want to give me a follow, here is the source for it. We cover this every day on our X page. A lot of good stuff there. And so if you want to check it out, there's the link. All right, so there's the breakdown in this position here. So it's not as bad as it was. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here. So we basically are flat on the day now. Very, very small loss. It might keep breaking down, but I ended up buying at the 8 a.m. scrum, which I shouldn't have done. So that's how it goes. Do you guys think we'll have a red or green day? At 8:30, we got the import price data coming in too. So we got the import-export price data, the good trades balance data coming out at 8:30. Man, I feel better today, which is good. I'm still not 100, but I'm feeling better. Like, I still can't trade jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu, you need to be close to 100% if you're going to do it. And I'm definitely not there now. Looking at our poll numbers, still 60-40 on Jerome Powell, hawkish or dovish tomorrow. And a big story is going to be what he says during the actual press conference tomorrow. Like, what Powell says during the Q&A, what his statement says. That's going to be the big story. You think today's going to be red? Red? Most people think today's going to be red. Why is that? What do you guys think is gonna? What stock do you think is gonna drag the market down? I know Palantir is already down big from earnings. Very volatile though. So investors are looking at safe havens still. You can see gold up big today. Like, take a look at gold. Gold's getting very close to all-time highs again. It's only about $115 an ounce away from all-time highs for gold. So it's very possible it hits that today. Safe haven inflows have more than doubled since March. As a result, defense sectors such as consumer staples and utilities are up almost 4% and 1% year to date, respectively. The biggest winner, obviously, like I said, is gold, almost $3,500 an ounce, which is the all-time high. Only time in history it's done that. We also had an India official a couple minutes ago say U.S. trade negotiations are going extremely well. So again, U.S. trade negotiations are going extremely well, according to an India official. Again, the SOFR rate showed up at 4.33% for May 5th versus 4.36% for May 2nd. John, do you think we're going to be red today? I have no idea. Yeah, there are dips. Yeah, it's like that 90s morning music. All right, guys. So you get about 20 minutes. We got the import-export price data. We'll see what that looks like. I probably could have held this, maybe gone green, but it's just not worth it. It's better for my psychology to have a small loss. Yeah, I have no idea if we should buy or sell right now. No idea. Genuinely no idea. So there we are. We're back down here. Here's the 200 exponential. I could have held. I would have been green, but it's all right. Yeah, I don't like options because of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the kitchen, bro. I am in my office. This is my room. You know. It's a pretty cool office, too. This is one of the reasons we bought this house is because of this office. I got a library. You know. But yeah, this is one of the reasons we bought this house is because of this room. It's a cool room. All right, so look at that rebound back up a little bit. So we did bounce back some here. Huh. All right, guys. So we're rebounding back up a little bit. Palantir under the volume weighted average price in the 200 exponential. How much of a 10 potential when the market have when they don't get a rate cut? I don't think they're going to have a temper tantrum. I think most people understand the market's not going to get a rate cut tomorrow. It's pretty improbable. We don't even have any economic data that would influence it in that significant of a way to change expectations here. So the likelihood that we're going to get a rate cut is very low tomorrow. And anybody that thinks we are going to get a rate cut, you know. Yeah, I mean, just y'all respect each other's opinions. You know, no need to argue about it. It's all good. Depends on what your definition of gambling is, and to a certain extent, the market is a gamble, regardless of how you look at it. You know, and so it just depends. Like it depends on your definition, and that can be subjective. And so arguing about that's unnecessary, guys. I didn't really read the argument either, so I'm sorry. I don't have time to read all that, but I'm not against options. I think options are fine. There's nothing more gambly about options than there are necessarily about buying shares. You can be really risky with options, or you can be pretty risk averse with options as well. And if anything, there's more ways to hedge with options too, but it doesn't matter as much. Like, you know. 5% chance of a rate cut based on forecast. Yeah, it's like 4.5% the last time I looked at it, so it's pretty improbable. I'm waiting for my Top Step payout here. All right, honestly, the market's so flat right now. It's so boring, dude. It's not really doing anything here. I'm waiting for it. All right, so second round of German parliamentary voting reported at 3:15 local time. We got 13 minutes into the import-export price data here. And it's a pretty big report. Like, you want to pay attention to it. Yeah, I mean, there's good strategies, bad strategies everywhere, guys. It's all good. For new traders, options can be risky, but you can also have less risk trading them as well, if that makes sense. Right? Like, you can trade options in certain ways that get you around the PDT rule and the T1 rule easier. And so, yeah. All right, guys, so Palantir. All right, so we're starting to bounce back. Look how flat the market has been. Again, I don't know if the market's waiting for this trade deficit data. It shouldn't necessarily. But yeah, so basically German guys talking right now. Let's put the earnings up here for today. What we got? Nothing really big for earnings this morning, honestly. We had Celsius, we had Datadog, DoorDash, a couple other ones. All right, so we got Celsius, SEC, LH that posted earnings. They came in, missed EPS, missed revenue. We had Datadog, DDOG, post BDPS, beat revenue. We had DoorDash, which is DASH, posted BDPS, missed revenue. We posted CEG, Constellation Brands, flat EPS, beat revenue. We had Race, which is Ferrari, BDPS, beat revenue. We had DOCN, DigitalOcean, BDPS, beat revenue. We had FIS, Fidelity National here. They BDPS, beat revenue. Marriott, BDPS, beat revenue, I think. No, Marriott missed revenue. Or Aerie. Bunch of other ones too. Nothing else super big. But the NASDAQ has flattened out drastically. It just hasn't really moved. What are y'all arguing about? Y'all are, I mean, yeah, but I think both of you guys, it's all love here. I think both of you guys are arguing over a very subjective thing that, you know, agree to disagree and move on, guys. Both of you guys. John, can you look at Lucid? Yeah, doesn't Rivian have earnings today? Rivian's at 13s. Lucid, I'm not a big fan of. Again, I'll say this once, and I said this years ago, and I'll say it again. And honestly, I said this years ago, and time has proven me mostly correct in what I'm about to say. Most up-and-coming small EV companies are going to fail, chat. I'll say it again. Most up-and-coming small EV brands are going to fail. Unless they're partnered with a legacy automotive company, which even then they probably will fail. But they got less of a chance to fail. Versus up-and-coming EV brands are going to fail. The argument I used to give all the time, I used to say this exact thing over and over and over again, is that they do not have the infrastructure to make people comfortable buying them. Nobody wants to drive a National Lampoon Vacation car. Okay, nobody wants to drive a car that might not be around in 5 to 10 years. Nobody does. Now, you might have some good companies like Rivian doing really well. Tesla obviously is doing okay. And you got some legacy automotive EVs, but they're legacy brands, so they're going to be fine regardless. But you got these up-and-coming EV brands like Lucid. Again, I'm going to say it again, these are going to struggle. Why are they going to struggle? Number one, most of them design their vehicle to kind of look like a Tesla, right? So if people have the option of buying a Tesla or buying a car that copied the Tesla, most people are going to buy a Tesla, right? they don't have the consumer base they need, right? A lot of these brands are created, like Mullen was a good example of this, MULN. They don't have the consumer base they need to succeed. And again, I said this about Mullen. Mullen was at like $3 a share, $4 a share. Mullen is now at 30 cents a share. Same thing with NKLA. Same thing with Lucid. And I like Lucids. I think Lucids are cool cars. I've seen them out in the wild before. But again, it doesn't matter because they don't have the consumer base they need to really succeed, in my opinion. And again, if you look at a long-term chart, they're downtrending. Honestly, Lucid's not doing as bad as they could. But with EVs, this is just the truth. You got to think about it. Look, I'm not saying there's not going to be some that succeed. What I'm saying is that a lot of these up-and-coming brands are going to fail. Some of them might succeed. I think Rivian has kind of proven a lot of people wrong, and that's cool. That's good for them. I'm for it. But you just got to understand human nature in that regard. Like, nobody wants to experiment and buy a brand new company producing EVs that nobody's ever really heard of. Not unless they're incredibly cheap, which a lot of these cars are not, right? And a lot of these cars are not cheap. And so, yeah. John, do you believe Apple will be gone? No. I don't know, 50 years, it's too difficult to tell. In 50 years, a lot of stuff can happen. And so in 50 years, I have no freaking idea what's going to be around. In 50 years, the NASDAQ, the S&P will probably look wildly different than what it is today, just because that's how it goes. But in 10, 20 years, no, Apple's going to be here. Yeah, so I've never understood, like, all these people trying to find all these discount EV makers. Like, that seems like the worst sector of business you can invest in, you know? Even if you think EVs are the future, like, bro, like, what do you think is more probable? You're going to have a bunch of standalone EV brands that just kind of pop out the woodwork and succeed, or are you going to have legacy automotive brands that decide to produce EVs? That's what's going to happen. You know, you're going to have Tesla, which is kind of the leader anyway, and then you got all the other ones. All right, guys. Hey, we got 3 minutes left until we got good trade balance data. 3 minutes until the good trades balance data drops. We'll see what this shows up. I don't know if it's going to move markets. We'll see. We'll cover it as we always do. But, yeah. All right, so I could have held that short. We probably could have made money, but we'll put gold up. We'll put Palantir up. We'll put the NASDAQ up for good trades balance. I'm curious to see how this affects things. We could also probably put up the dollar index, but there's gold right here. All right, so we're dropping down a little bit here still. Here's the lows of the day, right around 19,805. All right, guys, we got 50 seconds left. 50 seconds left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up on stream. Yes, I will be posting the import-export price action and data. Again, import-export data is expected today. It's expected at minus 136.8 billion for the trade balance for March, minus 138.6, minus 136.8 billion. Last time should have been minus 122, and this drops in about 20 seconds, 15 seconds. See how it moves stuff here. I'm gonna put the dollar index up for just a second, just so we can watch how this all moves with it. Maybe put up bond yields too afterwards. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the reports. Trade balance data came in at minus 510 million versus oh no, that's for Canada. Sorry. Trade balance data came in at minus 140.5 billion. So greater imports versus exports than expected. We expected a negative number of 136.8 billion, like how much we're importing versus exporting. Or I should say how much we're exporting versus importing. They expected minus 136.8. They ended up showing minus 140. So a little bit larger amount of imports versus exports. Basically, we need other countries more than they need us, is basically what this data shows, by a larger degree at minus 140.5 billion versus minus 137 billion expected. Here, I'll put this number up in chat. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to budge with this data. I didn't even title the stream on this data. It's pretty small data. I mean, the market's coming down a little bit, though. Look at the NASDAQ fall. I should have stayed in that short, but it's so hard to tell at the time. The dollar index is coming down a little bit on this, too. Yeah, so again, the good trades balance data, international trade balance, showed up at minus 140 versus minus 137 expected, which means we are exporting, or which means that we are importing more than we're exporting by a larger degree. The easiest way to look at this is like, how much do we need other countries versus how much they need us? So, yeah. All right, so we're coming down here a little bit. We're at 19,820s. Still falling down. Look at gold pushing up on this report. Dollar index is breaking lows. So, I mean, honestly, we're getting a little bit of movement. I don't know if it's from this report or not, but hey, we got over 1,000 here. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate the love. Thanks so much here, chat. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Help grow the channel here. We did break 160,000 subscribers. So, thanks so much, chat. We appreciate you guys. We really do. Shout out to you all. Yeah, we got AMD and Supermicro semiconductor earnings today. So AMD and SMCI earnings. We are coming down a little bit. We're at 19.8s. 19.8s. Gold's pumping up. All right, so we're creeping towards these lows here. Do I want to short? I kind of do, but I need a little bounce first. All right, a little baby bounce is what I need. Up to 825, I'll take it. All right, we got enough. That's enough. Close enough. And then we'll add to it if we're green. Is the strategy we'll use. Since we're red on the day, if we get into the green, we will add to it like this. We were pretty deep in the profit here, but we went down, tapped the lows. I still like this short, by the way, too, but doesn't mean it's gonna work. There we go. All right, we're gonna take half off there, just protect the trade, get a little green trade in there. We need it to this morning. And it also filled us in the profit a little bit more too, so we can let this break down, see if we can crack lows now. Maybe add to this if it works out. We're right at the lows of the day here. Lows of the day are now 806. We're at 813s. I'm going to try to get out the rest in the profit, hopefully. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna go and cut that there too. Just a little. I need a green trade in the books, so we got one. So we're basically back down to flat on the day. I was worried we'd bounce at these lows, so I just wanted to cut it there. Gold is still pushing up though. The dollar index, again, 99.4s. Palantir still coming down a little bit here. Look at PLTR. Get him, Bruce. Hey, man. How you doing today, bro?
Good, I guess.
Love you, buddy. Have a good day, dude. Hey. All right, guys, sorry. Bro, who has wood in their kitchen, bro? People are like, "Oh, is it your kitchen?" Who has wood like this in their kitchen, dude? This is a library, okay? It's my library, guys. You know, kitchen. How dare you? All right, we'll put this data up on screen. Again, import trade balance showed up a little bit more negative than expected at minus 140 versus minus 137 expected. So a little bit more negative, which again means that we are importing. We need more. We need other countries' goods a little bit more than they need ours, is what that means. But at the same time, like I'll say this once, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again today. China absolutely needs our business. We are the largest buyer of Chinese goods in the world. You know, or the largest importer of Chinese goods in the world. And so it's not like China just doesn't need our business, you know, like they need our stuff just like we need them. We absolutely need them too. I mean, we need their goods and they need us to buy them. And so both sides need each other. Because of that, I tend to think a deal's going to eventually get done. I don't know what the market's going to look like when it does. I don't know how much the market's going to fall prior to that deal getting done, but I tend to believe it's going to get done. Yeah, so Hawk or Dove for Powell. Let's take a look at the, so NASDAQ just actually cracked lows for a split second here. The likelihood of a cut has actually decreased this morning so far. So at this point, the likelihood of a cut is only 3.1% today, 3.1%. Taking a look at bond yields. Where's bond yields? I had them up somewhere today, but we're going to have to put a different one up. Taking a look at bond yields. Bond yields have actually gone down a little bit this morning, but not much. They're not actually, they have fallen down versus where they were, right? They're still up overnight, but they're down relative to where they were. They're now at 4.33%. You can take a look at a 5-year chart here and see that. And so bond yields still pretty high this morning, although they have decreased over the last hour or two. Probability of a rate cut tomorrow is under 3.5%. Yeah, I mean, nah. Okay, look. Just to put this into perspective, I think the way you're looking at it is wrong. Nah. And the reason you're wrong is because America making up almost 15% of Chinese imports, or exports, I should say, importing China's good. America's the largest importer of Chinese goods in the world. All right. That 15% is a huge percentage. No other country imports more Chinese goods than the U.S. All right, that 15%, like you can act like that 15% is a tiny number or something. That is a incredibly large number. Imagine you run a business and your 15% of your revenue is gone like that. Are you going to be happy about it? Of course not. Of course China needs us. Like, listen, y'all buy in too much nonsense. Like, listen, I got some timeshares I want to sell you guys. If y'all believe, you know, of course they're going to take a hardline approach. Okay, of course they're going to be like, yeah, we don't need the U.S. Of course they do. Of course they do. We are the single largest importer of Chinese goods in the world. Look it up. You can look this up right now. Look it up. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I always got to preface it just in case, like, I'm hyper confident in something and then I'm just wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. If I Google who is the largest buyer of Chinese goods, the United States is the largest buyer of Chinese goods. China's major export partners also include European Union, South Korea, and Japan. Again, we did this the other day. I'm pretty sure the U.S. imports like 500 billion or something Chinese goods. And the second largest importer is at like 30 billion or something like that. Let me check this just to be sure, just to make sure I'm right here before I talk up my butt and I'm wrong. NASDAQ falling down. 19.8 here. 19.8. Notice how you said countries. Nah. So Na responds with Southeast Asia countries, largest customer for Chinese products. Notice how you said countries, which is plural, brother. I'm talking about the largest country, you know, the largest single importer of Chinese goods. It's the United States, of course. You know, we could add up a whole bunch of other countries and say that, you know, I could say, nah, man, no, it's not, you know, because Japan, you know, Australia, Canada, you know, all the other Asian countries all import Chinese goods. They make up more than the U.S. We're not talking about the majority percentage. We are talking about what country imports the most Chinese goods, and that is very, very obviously the U.S., in my opinion, I think. Could be wrong, though. Who freaking knows? Let me make sure. Yeah, so the two biggest markets for Chinese exports are the United States, which imports $525 billion worth of goods from China in 2024, which is almost 15% of China's total exports. And the second largest is Hong Kong at under $300 billion, which is only 8% of Chinese exports. And so, again, we are their biggest importer. Their biggest customer is us. I promise you they are not happy about these tariffs. I promise you they do not want to lose our business, regardless of what they say. Of course, they're going to act like they're, you know, they don't need us. That's pretty standard with trade battles. But of course they do. You know, you got to understand the context of this. Of course they do. Yeah, it's a good old-fashioned game of chicken, 100%. Right, exactly, Rob. The stuff people argue with me here, though, about, like, I guess, like, when you get enough people, you're going to have all these, like, diversified opinions everywhere. Like, everybody else has a different opinion. And I get it. I'm not even mad at you for doing it, for having a different, you know, but people argue with me about whether the sky is blue over here. All right, so we're testing lows right now. We're testing lows. We're at 19.8s. 19.8s. Say irregardless to sound smarter. Irregardlessly of the percentage, we are the largest importer of goods from there. Irregardlessly. I'm gonna create that word. That's gonna be the new word. It's gonna be irregardlessly. I think it sounds personally like very smart. You know, I would say I'm like the top 3 smartest sounding person in the world using that word. We're up to 3,400 for gold. 3,400. Oh, what's up, Sam? I'm not talking about you, bro. You think Palantir will go up this morning? Palantir's down a lot, but I think it's justifiably down. I like Palantir as a company, and I think it's going to be fine long term. The problem is short term, Palantir's got a PE ratio of 500 and something, which is crazy high, of course. PE is price to earnings, like price relative to earnings, like how much they make in margins in like EPS versus what their current price is. You know, in the PE ratio, it's the lower number is better. It's better to be like under 35, under 40, under 30, really, I should say. Palantir is at like 500 or 600 PE ratio. And so a lot of people are arguing about or worried about overvaluation of Palantir short term. But at the same time, I think it's a very strong company. I think long term, it'll probably be fine. Remember, guys, not an investment professional. Might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Do not copy me. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. Trade responsibly. Also, guys, if you want to check out Top Step, understand all the stuff on screen. We're day trading on Top Step this morning. Top Step, most day traders lose money. If you put up, you know, your own money to day trade, you're probably going to need thousands of dollars to do it. And you're still not going to have like flexibility to day trade. In the futures market, there's no PDT rule. You could day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies, very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT rule in futures. Most pro day traders trade futures. And if you want to get your feet wet in futures without risking too much money, most day traders lose their first year or two. It's just kind of a normal thing. It's called market tuition. Instead of funding your own account thousands of dollars and probably losing it, try Top Step. They give you a 50K demo in futures. If you can make 3K in profit without losing 2K first, following their rules and conditions, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. And prior to the split kicking in, you get to keep your first 10K in profit. So it's very similar to funding your own account in that regard. Learning how to trade in a structured environment is incredibly beneficial for new traders especially. And if you fail, you're out $50 for the base one, $100 for the middle one, $150 for the top one. So it's not the end of the world if you fail it. But if you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. So it's the best of both worlds. It's limited risk. If you lose, it's not the end of the world versus funding your own account thousands of dollars and losing that. But if you pass it, you get a 50K funded account anyway, and it just makes sense, right? And they pay out hundreds of millions. They fund thousands. It's a great resource. If you use Top Step, if you use my link, go to Top Step X. There's 0 commission on Top Step X. And it's just a great way to learn. And the patterns in futures are very similar to day trading stocks. But some would say I'm the top 3 most biased person in the world right now. Make sure you understand all that stuff on screen. They're an affiliate of mine, so I'm biased in their favor. I pinned it to the top of the chat, though. If you want to check it out, there's the link right there. We'll see if we get a bounce back. Again, if we get a bounce back to like 50, I might short it, but we'll see. So the other day at my job, this know-it-all used irregardless. I thought of you, bro. Yeah. I think irregardless is such a bad word because people use it to try to sound smart, right? But it's ironic because it makes them look the other way, you know. All right, we're getting a bounce back. Coming from the top 3 smartest guy in the world, I know. All right, gold. Will gold break all-time highs today? Look at this pop right now in markets. Let's see if it holds. I am feeling better today, man. I've been not feeling good since Thursday. So Ferrari says order book covers the entire 2026 according to earnings slides. All right, so let's give a News Squawk posted their breakdown. So the FOMC decision tomorrow, May 7th. Chair Powell press conference at 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. The central bank is expected to hold rates at 4.25 to 4.5%. Attention is going to continue to reside on commentary of the current administration's tariff impacts and the guidance the central bank has to offer, where they are very likely to reiterate it's a wait-and-see approach. The latest Fed decision, again, is tomorrow. Chair Powell's press conference starts 30 minutes after it at 2 p.m. The rate decision will be announced at 2:30. We'll get the press conference. We will not get an updated summary of economic projections at this, and we'll have to wait until the June meeting for updated forecasts. They're likely to keep rates unchanged. According to some sources, markets currently assign just a 2% probability of a 25 basis point cut this meeting. Again, I'm showing like a 3%, but it's still pretty low. All right, so we're back up to 830s here, 830s. Here's a resistance level right here. Let's draw some levels. I think we got to do like 8s right there. Nothing is wrong at all with disagreement. Yeah, I mean, I have kind of what I did the Myers-Briggs, which they say they use like a different one now, but I got the debater personality type. So basically, it's telling me I like to argue. You know, I don't necessarily like arguing, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. It depends on what if it's a friendly conversation, I'm okay with debating it. But if it starts to get towards like heated, I just kind of pull back to it and turn into sarcasm. All right, so we're still trying to get over this level we drew here. Look at this. So still can't really get over it. Blaze. Palantir about to make a run back up. Yeah, I mean, Palantir over the 200 exponential, over the volume weighted average price. Dipped a lot after its earnings call yesterday. Yeah, I got an ENPD, I think is what it was. Yeah. And again, part of me thinks that this is kind of, or maybe it was, what was it? What did I get, dude? Oh, no, I did not get ENPD. That's like a narcissistic personality disorder. I definitely didn't get that. I'm talking about the Myers-Briggs test, guys. I mean, I'm top 3 most narcissistic guy in the world right now, but definitely didn't get that. Maybe it was a different one. Hold on. I got a ENTP is what it was. ENTP, which is extroverted. What's the... extroverted, intuitive thinking, prospecting. See, part of me thinks this is kind of like a horoscope, though, and everybody wants to believe they're some super quick-witted genius at everything, and so I wonder the validity of these reports. But it says intelligent and curious. ENTPs are intellectually curious and enjoy learning new things, particularly those that challenge their existing understanding. They are adept at analyzing problems and situations, seeking out different perspectives. Strong imagination, innovative, generating a wide range of ideas. See, these are all positive, though. They prefer to keep their opinion open and are comfortable with spontaneity, adapting easily to changing circumstances. They thrive in social settings and enjoy engaging in discussions. Skilled at expressing ideas and engaging in debates, often with persuasive and charismatic style. Ability to analyze problems from multiple perspectives and generate innovative solutions. Where's the negatives, though? There's, you know, like these are all positive, so to me it comes across as like a horoscope, you know? Like this person cares about people they love and is loyal to the bone. I care about people I love. I'm loyal. It's got to be true. You know? No offense, I'm sorry. The more Basent speaks, the less it matters. Yeah, I mean, I watched him the other day, but he talked the other day. I just don't know how much influence he's going to have on the market. What's a furry, bro? Are those people that dress up like animals? I could never, you know. I'm not judging, but like what happened to make them like that? Like, how are they that into animals? You know, I think that's a cause for alarm, personally. But I'm not judging. Listen, live your life. As long as you're not hurting anybody, I can't really criticize it. If you're one of them, I hope you understand, though. It's a little strange to most people. But it's all love. Live your life. You have the ability to compartmentalize your feelings and logic with an argument. All right, red book showed up at 6.9%. 6.9%. Is gold dipping down? Gold's getting ready to potentially break all-time highs. If we get up to 850s, I will short this. I just gotta wait for it, though. I'm trying to be patient here. All right, guys, let's get ready. We got the opening bell showing up soon. Negative traits of so they say negative traits of ENTPs: poor follow through. That's probably true for me. Procrastination, difficult focusing, tendency towards insensitivity and tolerance, struggle with completing tasks, easily bored, distant emotionally. Well, Biogen files for 2-part senior notes offering. I'm just going to change that subject. Difficulty listening to authority. Arguing, creating conflict. Don't they use another test nowadays, though? All right, we're almost up to 850s. Let's see if we can short this. What animal would I be? All right, let's see if we can short this if we get high enough. Hold on, guys. I think we're close enough right here where we can short it right here. Basically flat. Yeah, I don't know what kind of animal I'd be. Bond yields still falling down some here. There we go. We got a little rejection here. It's not much though, but it's getting better. I'm gonna add to this. See if we can catch a little bit more here of a breakdown. I like the red candle. Flat. Let's see if we can break down a little bit more here. There we go. Bank of America files for a denominated USD issuance. We gotta maybe increase our size a little bit. The range of this market. All right, we're gonna take half off there, protect it, and then see if we can break down a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. It might keep breaking down, but we're gonna get into the small little green trade and then maybe short a pop back up. Do you think $500 capital is okay for a beginner? Depends on what you're doing with it, what you're trying to trade. Alright, so I'm actually going to short this little bounce up again. We're going to keep one contract here. Maybe add a little bit to it, but... we took 2 contracts now. Preferably, I'd like to break down a little bit more. There we go. Took half off there. Locked it in. We'll hold the rest a little bit longer. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right there. Gotta chip it away at some profits here. We might short another bounce too if we want. It needs to be a larger bounce though. Alright, we'll short that. Nice. Nice. Probably hold the rest break even here. We basically got ourselves flat on the day, which is good. We lost a pretty decent amount earlier. We're gonna hold the rest break even now, so we got a very distinct level that we're gonna cut it, and probably about to do it right now. We'll let it test this level real quick, but then we're gonna cut it if it. Oh, that looks better. Okay. The range is very small this morning, though. We got less than 30 minutes until the opening bell. Nice. This keeps retracing a little bit too much. We're just going to cut it right here. But not bad. Yeah, it depends on what you're trying to do with 500 bucks. Yeah, if you're trading like prop firms and Top Step, stuff like that, like that's probably enough. But you know, you got to understand you're still probably going to lose money regardless of where you go. Like it's just pretty standard. Most day traders lose. See if we get a bounce to this level. I'll short it again. Sorry, I'm kind of editing some stuff here. All right, so look at that big retracement back up. I was thinking about shorting it into this little pop, but that's all right. Yeah, the big thing is the FOMC meeting. UK reaches a free trade agreement with India, news was just announced. All right, so look at that red showing up. All right, so we got a little bounce back after breaking down here. Palantir is also down to 113s. It's still breaking down some. We're just too close here after a big red. We might keep dropping down, but I have to wait some here. All right, we're still breaking down here, chat. So, wow, look at this drop here. Interesting. All right, still breaking down. We're kind of close to this low at this triple bottom, so I have to kind of wait here. All right, so Ferrari CEO says the first EV is going to be presented in 3 unveiling steps in October. So Ferrari got to start producing EVs. All right, so bond yields, we're going to still keep watching them. All right, so we're still dropping some. Let's see, we're at 813s. Gold at 3,400. So gold only $100 away. So one of the things that you could conclude is that if gold's going to break all-time highs, potentially today or leading into that with the Fed meeting, I'm short biased today. Because, you know, what's going to make gold go up is fear and weakness in other markets. So if the NASDAQ and the S&P, the Dow goes down, gold is a little bit more probable to go up, right? And so maybe big money knows something in gold, and then they're going to start treading towards that, if that makes sense. Yeah, so the U.S. trade deficit. All right, so we're at 19.8. Let's see if we break lows again. We're right around those lows. Gold's still pumping up. Palantir still down on the day. Palantir and Apple could rebound markets here. Again, we got 18 minutes left into the market opens. We're going to be trading live. Trying to wait for good. All right, so we're really close to lows. We got a triple bottom right here. I'm not really interested in buying this or shorting it either. So I'm just going to wait to see what happens and then maybe use that to gauge. right, testing lows again. All right, gold up to over 3,400s. Let's see what we got. So AMD earnings this evening. We also have Super Micros, but honestly, Super Micro has been a little bit less hot. Sorry, I had to send out a business email. Super Micro has been a little bit less hot, all the way down to $30 a share. Just after their earnings stuff going on, we'll see what happens. We got microchip earnings today, basically. We got AMD and Super Micro earnings. Look at the NASDAQ start to test this level. I'm watching 19.8s here, 19.8s. 20,000 is way above us, so we still got a ways ahead of it to look to before we get back up to 20K. And maybe the Fed meeting influences this. I also think we could have choppiness. So I think we're either going to go down today or we're going to go flat today, because I think we're leading into the FOMC meeting. And so it actually kind of makes a lot of sense that we chop sideways leading into that report. A lot of the time ahead of the FOMC, we get like choppy, neutral, boring activity. So all right, so we look at this crack low. So we just broke down under 19.8s here, under 19.8s. Bro, you're gonna make me upgrade this. So bouncing right there at 19.8, so I'm going to let it test. I broke lows right 12 minutes before the opening bell, chat. So does the market hold down? Bouncing back up over 8, so you could short this. Getting close. $11 minutes, chat. 11 minutes. Yeah, futures market, you can trade indices or indexes like S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, futures, commodities. You know, patterns are very similar. Like, you got to think the S&P is the largest stocks in the world. It's an index made of the largest stocks in the world. NASDAQ is as well. So Biggest man-made crash. So we got up to 8.15s or so and then rejected all the way back down. I kind of want to buy this dip though. The problem is that if it breaks on the downside, it's going to really break. So I just have to kind of be a little more careful, I think, here. And again, if you want to check out TopStep, you can day trade with me. I am day trading on TopStep's funded account program. Great way to learn, and even if you're a good trader, if you're good enough, you could withdraw and fund your own account if you make enough money on there. And it's just a great way to get started for less. If you don't have that much money, but you want to get started day trading, these funded account programs, these kind of prop firm style stuff is probably the right move when most day traders lose. And again, it doesn't matter. Like, most day traders are going to lose regardless of where they go. Frankly, it's a lot cheaper to lose here, learn, get better, lose less, and then if you're good enough, you can withdraw and fund your own account. So I think there's a lot of benefits to this. No PDT rolling futures. It's very similar to day trading stocks. If you want to check it out, there's the link. It's also pinned to the top of the chat. You can check that out also. All right, chat, we got 8 minutes. Still bouncing right here at 19.8. And again, remember, TopStep's an affiliate of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. Understand all these rules on screen. Not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. Trade responsibly. Understand all this stuff. Not on screen, but also down here. We are not market professionals. Not liable if you lose. Some of these links are affiliate links, Yeah, this is, I was thinking about buying this up, but I was worried that if it does break down, it can really break. I don't know if it's going to, so just be smart, chat. But yeah. Bro, the time. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. There's a bounce right there at 19.8. Still holding. Still holding. Getting closer to the opening bell. We got 6.5 minutes left. Really, we got about 6 minutes left. Still testing this low over and over again here, though, guys. I gotta wait. I gotta wait and let this test first. All right, so now we're testing that low level again here, guys. Honestly, a lot of uncertainty. Again, I tend to think that we're going to go either choppy or down today. I think we're either going to chop sideways or go down. And with that said, look at that NASDAQ low break here. So we just broke lows on the NQ. Breaking down now. We are at 780s, chat, 780s under 800s. And you can see how much red shows up in the stuff as we break down here. We got less than 5 minutes into the opening bell as well. Again, it's kind of microchip earnings day. We got AMD, Supermicro Semiconductors earnings after the closing bell today. So that'll be a big day, an interesting day. So we broke down to 788, which is the new low of the day now. Palantir is breaking down as well. It's under 113s. It's under 112.50s really for Palantir. So Palantir is now falling down with us as we speak here. Yeah, I mean, I'm biased in Top Step's favor, but it's genuinely useful for traders, to be honest. Most day traders lose, so it's just genuinely useful for them. Yeah, Supermicro Semiconductors is kind of falling off, though. It's down to $30 a share. We got less than 3 minutes now. NASDAQ still breaking lows at 785s now. What's up, Femi? How you doing, bro? Ugh. Oil's up. Yeah, so oil did kind of have a little bit of a bounce back today after supply chain woes and worries. Oil back up to almost 60 a share, or 60 a barrel at 59s right now. So we are bouncing back. Let's see if this 800 level turns into resistance here, which it certainly could. Let's see if 800 turns into resistance now. And I just want to appreciate you guys. My channel has honestly grown a lot. We got almost 1,000 here for the opening bell. Like, we always cover big economic streams and stuff like that, and so I appreciate you guys in that regard. Like, we have gotten a lot better for that. But our regular streams, we're getting pretty good numbers too. So appreciate the love, guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate the growth. Good community here. Just want to say thank you to you all. I appreciate you guys. It's fun to hang out with you guys every morning and talk about finance. Apple's starting to rebound back some, so let's see if Apple pops back up. We also got to watch like Nvidia at the opening bell. We got a minute left. Chat. Here's Apple. So look at Apple run back up. I don't know what it's from. Let's see if we can find some news. Kansas City Fed president will miss the upcoming FOMC meeting due to, oh, rest in peace to Kansas City Fed pres. His wife passed, so rest in peace. Apple is bouncing back right now. It's at 198. Yeah, you can join our Discord. It's completely free. Doesn't cost anything. There's the link right there. Appreciate the love. So we're back up to 795. So we got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here's the bell. There's the opening bell. Palantir with a big red candle right at the opening bell, making the NASDAQ crack lows and then retracing all the way back up. But look at Palantir all the way down to 111.50s at the opening bell, chat. 111.50s. A lot of other tech stocks broke down. NVIDIA down to 111.20s as well. Oil pulling back a little bit, but now we're retracing all the way back up. It has to be maybe from Meta rebounding back up here. Look at this big green action. So Palantir broke down. Look at Palantir still falling down as the market goes up. Meta rebounding back up. NVIDIA bouncing back up as well. So NVIDIA retraced all the way back up to 112s at the opening bell here. Very volatile open right now, chat, based off of a lot of stocks going counter to each other. Look at that retracement. My hands are off. I'm waiting for the opening bell to end here. I'm not going to jump into anything right now. Oh, sorry, Pawn. I gotta pull up Discord. I thought I had Discord up already, bro. My bad, dude. Okay. All right, guys. So NVIDIA looking red right now. Apple's bouncing back though. Apple's getting up there. I want to watch gold at the opening bell. NVIDIA, Palantir both rebounding back up. Gold is still at 34s. Kind of want to short into this, chat. It's kind of close to the opening bell. We're only 2 minutes in. So I'm going to wait just because I don't want to get pumped up against. But Apple flying up right now, actually. Apple about to hit 200s here. Look at Apple. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to wait. Looks like a good thing that I'm waiting because the market just ripped up. Apple's what's driving this. Apple up 199.50 at the highs of the day now. Just under 200. It won't shock me if the market acts sideways today leading into the Fed meeting too. All right, so look at this level. Let's see if this level reacts. Here's the 200 EMA. Just flying past the 200. I'm gonna buy this. It's really risky. Slightly green now. Let's see if the green continues. Big retracements though. It's so volatile here. Yeah, I gotta cut it. I shouldn't have traded at the opening bell, dude. It's too crazy, honestly. I was hoping that like this would hold support, but that 200 exponential, bro, just rejected again. It might actually go back up there too. We'll see if we can play with it. We're 3 minutes into the day though. I should probably wait at least another minute or two to let it play out. But yeah, we'll wait. The IIF Global Debt Monitor rises by 7.5 trillion to record high over 324 trillion in quarter 125. China, France, and Germany largest contributors to global debt increase. I'm gonna try shorting this now. Let's see if we can get into something, but we're gonna have to take quick little baby positions. All right, we're out. We got out. Very small position here. We're really close to the opening bell. I usually don't trade this quick. We're 4 minutes into the open. Oh, sorry. Did I leave you on red, Pawn? My bad, bro. Hold on, dude. Wait, is it today? I think it's tomorrow. Let me see, dude. I thought it was tomorrow. Let me check. I hope it's tomorrow, dude. Yeah, I don't think it's today. I think it's tomorrow, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me check my email. Dolby sent me the email. Let me see. Yeah, so it's tomorrow. Pawn. So it's tomorrow, bro. You had me worried for a second. Yeah, so it's tomorrow, 5-7. All right, so we're dropping down a little bit. Look at this rejection here. Palantir's tapping the lows here. Do I want to shorten this little rebounding bounce? I think I'll try. It's a risk, though. Just punished. I'm going to cut this, too, and just get out. Amazon's ripping up. Nvidia's bouncing back. A lot of stuff looks like it's strong. Palantir's kind of falling down, though. It depends on if we think we're going to chop today, which I think is very possible. All right, we'll try this, dude. I just want to see if we chop. We're in this trade. We'll see if we can add to it if we get some greed, but I don't want to take it too long. 200 EMA keeps rejecting it, which is good, but yeah, I'll good pawn. No worries, bro. Kind of flat on the trade so far. I want to see if it retraces down, but it's not looking good the more it pushes up. If we get over this high, we'll cut this trade, but I hope it breaks down. Still struggling to get over it. Now we got to cut it. Yeah. We're kind of getting some apprehension. I might switch accounts and trade on a different account so I'm not like blowing this account if we... Not blowing it, but I don't want to lose too much in this account. Apple seems like it's pulling back a little bit. Looks like we finally got a little dip here, though, which is good. There we go. Got a little breakdown here. Rip it up. See, Apple kind of turned up here is what happened. But see, the problem is Apple's starting to creep up here. What else is dropping though? Apple at almost 200. Creeping up. Let's see if Apple hits 200. So look, we're now over 850s. We got like 8 and 9s. Let me see if I can find some levels here. I think we got 7.5 right there. It's probably the next big one. Look at Apple. Apple hitting 200 right here. 200 is a psychological level. Palantir's starting to bounce back too here. Apple's almost to 2s. Look at that dip. What a fake out. I don't know, we're bouncing kind of at that 200 EMA. Wow, look at this surge of strength coming in. We made a little bit of money back on the other account, but I gotta switch this song. I'm not really feeling it. There we go. I mean, we look like we want to hold here, but we gotta watch Apple. I feel like Apple wants to make that push towards 200, but I also feel like it's the FOMC day. And so I think if there's a day when the market's gonna maintain chop, it's today, you know? I'll go back to the other account. We got ourselves back to mostly flat. We're down a little bit, but like you can kind of see the string of trades that we got in here. Mostly flat. Kind of back and forth. I'm watching Apple though. I think Apple's going to make a retest of 2. And so I might take one contract here. And then add to it if I'm green. And if I'm not green, just not add to it and take a small loss. There we go. All right, so we're up about 15 ticks here. Small, but we're up some. Struggling though. There we go. All right, we added to it here. We got a little cushion now. Oof, what a turn. Yeah, we're gonna cut it and get out. We gave ourselves a good chance of making money on that one though. Depends on what we think Apple's gonna do here. Alright, we'll try again. But we're gonna add a couple contracts down on this one here. Man. The 200 exponential is such a strong support level, but all right, we're flat on the trade. Let's see if we get green here. I want to give Apple a chance to get up there. But remember, it's the day before FOMC, so I'm not going to take too much crazy risk. All right, we're green. Let's see if we get up there now. There we go. That's better. Man, just a wall up there, though. The 200 EMA is underneath us, which is good. And Apple is starting to try to get back up there. I'm trying to see what else is dropping. Google's running up, too, which is nice. There we go. We're green again. See if we get a pop. There we go. That's better. All right, we're going to take half off and just protect the trade because this thing has gotten, like, rejected over at this top over and over and over again. There goes Apple's bounce back here. There we go. That's better. We're going to add to it. Cut a piece right here. And then maybe add back on a pullback here. I think Apple's going to keep making that run up there. So we can maybe have a little bit of room here. Kind of flat so far. Apple turned, but we'll give it a second. But yeah, I gotta cut it. Still a small day. I don't know if I'm gonna trade this account. We're going back and forth on it, but I'm trying to preserve that account. I don't want to go crazy with it. And if Apple starts turning down and doesn't break 2, we could get a larger pullback here. What's Hims doing? Yeah, I don't like that song. It's too hyped up for me. You know. Wait, what just happened? Something just happened. Some type of news. Whoa. Something just happened. Look at that drop. Wow. What was that? Anybody know what just happened? Look at this red candle. Something happened. It's some type of economic report. Yeah, but there was some type of economic catalyst or fundamental catalyst driving this candle. This is not a... This is some type of market move for sure in somewhere. Let me see if I can figure this out. If you guys know, let me know, because I'm trying to research what this is. That's not it. Let me check. I'm checking all my sources here, see if we can find something. Rockstar releases the games trailer for GTA 6. Take-Two Interactive just pulled back big, but I don't know if that's what's driving this. What a drop. Is he really? Is Besant testifying right now? Is Besant speaking right now? Is that what this is? It's possible. All right, so the EU commissioner says the Russian gas contract terminations are going to be a force majeure. Apple retraced all the way back up, though, which is really weird. We tapped these lows, came all the way back down. Now we're ripping down, too. Alright, so we'll see if we buy this dip. No, we're not going to buy the dip. Not under 18s. I see the Saudi Arabia U.S. signing a mining mineral resource deal, but that's all I see. Yeah, I see the new GTA 6 trailer. Look at the red showing up. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to buy this dip. Market could be choppy today, so we're going to take a short term, or a longer term, I mean, small position trade. See if we can buy the bottom. Get a rebound back up to the mean of 200 exponential. And if this doesn't work, we're probably just going to shut it down and wait. Eesh. Yikes, dude. Alright. I don't know if I'm going to trade anymore today. I'm just getting beat up today. And yesterday I got beat up too. I mean, you don't love to see it. But, yikes. Nasty. Try to see if there's any reason for this drop, though. Yeah, these are big red candles. Something negative happened right at like 9:45 market time about 5 minutes ago. I still can't figure out what it is. But something pushed the market down. Are they, is Basent speaking right now? Somebody said he was. Let me check X. Okay, so yeah, Basent is testifying on Treasury oversight at 10 a.m. today. But I don't know if, see, that's not right now. So that wouldn't drive the markets down like this. Could just be red. Okay, so maybe he went on CNBC. When was this? 21 hours ago, so that's not today. All right, still getting some deep red candles here. Getting ready to break lows again. Again, I'm slowing down my trading. I mean, on this account, we're down less than $100, so I mean, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, I still can't find anything. I don't know why the market reacted that way. We see a drastic turn though. Like, look at this. So right here, we saw a huge rejection, mostly red candles, deep momentum on the downside too, right there at the top. I don't know what's sparking this. I'm trying to look up some news sources to see if we can find it though. Maybe it's the EU commissioner talking about Russia gas. Yeah, and I would cover Besant, but like, he's testifying. That might take a long time, dude. I think it's gonna get kind of boring, and so. Yeah, like I said this morning, I thought today would either be short or flat. I don't think it's going to be green. I think this is going to give gold a chance to run up too. Palantir is also breaking down. I mean, to 106s here. I think this is going to give gold a chance to make a rise up too. But we'll see. You never freaking know. And again, if you want to check out Top Step, no PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, some currencies. No PDT rule. Top Step gives you a 50K demo. They test your skill with it. If you can pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. In this case, the base one is $50 a month. It's not the end of the world. With that, they give you a $50,000 demo account. If you can make 3K in profit without losing 2K, following their rules and conditions, they fund you 50K with a 90% split, and they've paid out hundreds of millions. They fund thousands, so it's literally the best of both worlds. It's limited risk at $50 a month for the base one, $100 for the middle one, $150 for the top one. Limited risk. It's a monthly subscription. But if you pass it, 50K funded account, 90% split, you get to keep your first 10K prior to the split kicking in. And so the split is similar to funding your own account. The risk is noticeably less. They're one of the most legit in the world. They paid out millions, fund thousands. Just a good way to learn. Again, you can check out the link. It's pinned right above the chat. If you want to check it out, you can also find it right in the description as well. So check those out. We appreciate the love. And yeah, we'll see what we're going to get. Look at this rebound back up here. The market's chopping right now, though. Like it's a big range and small. It's a big range, but sideways trend. And so that makes me really nervous. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to push too hard today, to be honest. We'll come back another day. Yeah, tomorrow 8:30 Eastern, or tomorrow 2:30 Powell speaks. So be ready, chat. What a day. The volatility today has been kind of out there, bro. Dude, I ain't covering nobody's downside, Corey. Get out of here. All right, chat. I'm going to get out of here. Listen, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. Link is in the chat. Link is in the description. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the Russell, gold, some currencies. Again, very similar to day trading stocks, to be completely honest. No PDT rule in futures. Great way to learn when most day traders lose. Yeah. Y'all be safe. And again, give me a follow on X at Beginner Trades. At Beginner Trades, give me a follow on X. We've honestly been growing a lot there too. We post like a breakdown of everything going on in markets. Besant is supposed to speak or do some type of testifying right now, coming out pretty soon. And so Besant is going to be doing some stuff in like 2 minutes that I'm not really trying to get involved with in markets. So I would personally be very careful, guys. Y'all be good. Hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. Be safe in markets. I love you all. You'll have a great day.